All right. Welcome to the Vintage Sanctuary. I'm probably going to call this something like an emergency star company Larry Bird video. Now, what the hell is an emergency star company Bird video? Well, I don't know. We're going to see where this goes. But back when I collected coins, I still do have some left. But when I actively collected coins, I think there was a time or two where I took like $100 into a coin shop. And at that time, that was a lot. That was a big expense for me. And said to the coin dealer, just one of these really great coin dealers, right? Because in any collectible hobby, there are certain dealers that are they're really, really fantastic. I mean, sure, they're out to make a profit, which is great, right? They have a business, but they treat people right. They have a great reputation. They're not looking to gouge their customers. And I said, hey, what would you buy for $100 in your own shop? And the few times I did that, they gave me a great option, some coin that was like just great quality, not rare, but maybe relatively scarce. There was a reason why, it might just go up in value in the future. It was something desirable, something that either you can't get every day or that, seems to be a great value in the market at the time. And I think the reason they would do this is because they're flattered, right? They're honored that you rather than going in there and just buying something, that you asked for their expertise, and you were basically honoring their expertise and saying, hey, what do you think? Well, I've called them in the past, I've called them hobby elders, but actually, I don't think that was the best term. I mean, I think I could have went with a better term. Not hobby elders, because they're not always older. I really should have said something like hobby masters. And, there are lots of them. Now, I've been collecting most of my life, but I have not been in the, vintage baseball card space, even though we're not talking about vintage baseball cards right now. I've only been in that space for a handful of years. So even though I'm 62 years old, there are lots of people that are younger than I that have been in this space much longer than me, and they really are hobby masters. And I've learned from so many of them. I'm just going to mention a few. It's not exhaustive, but a few of the key people that I personally have learned from. And one is Eric Those Back Pages. He's younger than me, I believe. I'm almost certain he's younger than me, but regardless, that doesn't matter. He is a hobby master. If you listen to this guy, he is just, dropping this incredible knowledge. And I'm not just saying this to, just to pump him up or whatever. I mean, he really, really knows what he's talking about, right? And now you may not be into more modern cards, and that's fine, right? We should collect what we love or what we want to collect. That's always true. But if you have any interest in modern cards, listen to these hobby masters. Listen to Eric, because I tell you what, he will steer you in the right direction because he's got this incredible knowledge. And, even if you're not interested in quote unquote investment, he's saying, hey, look, these cards are tough. These are reasons why they're desirable. These are great looking cards. They have etching and now today they don't have etching, like he'll explain why you should consider these cards. And even if you're not interested from an investment standpoint, he's basically pointing you toward, these are great cards to go after based on scarcity, based on desirability. And he's not the only one, of course. We've got people like Double D Vintage Baseball Cards, and I have learned so much from him. And Shane, Shoebox Legends, that dude is a guru. Insane knowledge, and I've learned so much from these gentlemen, and I will continue to do so. I don't know why I'm sharing this, but I will. My father has passed on, but he was pretty abusive, actually. It's really kind of an insane upbringing that I had, but without going into all that, pretty abusive. But I remember at one time, this is a long story, but I won't go into it. But basically, he angrily said, I don't take advice from people your age. And, he had been putting me down. It was a bad day, to say the least. And there were many of those, but But something stuck with me out of that after that verbal abuse. And what stuck with me was it caused me to come up with something that I have held true ever since, which is I'll take advice from anybody. I don't care if they're 2 years old, if it's good advice, right? I'll take advice from President Trump. I'll take advice from Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, right? Whether I agree with their politics, a little bit, a lot, or not much at all, it doesn't matter. If they say something that's worthwhile, right, I would take advice from them. I'll take advice from people who are half my age, a third my age, a fifth my age, because they may very well have expertise and experience that I don't have. So it's not really about hobby elder, it's about hobby masters. They have experience, they have advice, they have wisdom. Soak it up, man, or at least listen to it, even if you decide that's not the direction for your collection. Now, here's the deal. I feel like the star cards they've been beat up for a long time, because for various reasons, right? There were some shenanigans that occurred with the Star Company president, Robert Levin, I believe. But here's the deal. There was also a lot of star misinformation. And those of us who collected star cards, we were we got a lot of negative comments, a lot of negative, feedback. Well, now the tide has turned and now these star cards are just doing, really well. And the Larry Birds I'm going to show you have done really well. In fact, it was just a few months ago that I was saying, hey, look, and I'm going to show these up close and personal, but you ought to go after this Larry Bird number 1. There's several reasons why you ought to consider it. It's a base card. It's not that common. It's an absolutely gorgeous card. It's from the time of Larry Bird's dominance. Just a fantastic card, I believe. And many of these Star Larry Birds are fantastic cards. And even in just the few months since I said that, I had a goal of getting 5. I got 5. They've maybe 2.5. They're worth like 2.5 to 3 times what they were when I obtained most of them just a few months ago. Now, here's the deal. Am I just here to brag about myself? I mean, the reality is I moved away from the Jordan Star cards because they were just way too expensive, and I traded some of my Jordan Stars even recently. One thing I got that was fantastic was a Wilt Chamberlain rookie, and I really love that card. I'm glad I got it. But the Star cards that I traded, 2 of them, have went up a lot more. Now, I think that Chamberlain might, maybe close the gap to some degree at some point, or it might not. But yeah, from a financial standpoint, I got blasted, right? One way of looking at it, not really, because I didn't pay much for the Jordans. I was able to get the Wilt Chamberlain rookie and not pay much for it. And I'm happy. I like the Wilt Chamberlain rookie better. And I believe in that card. I think, not that I'm doing this for investment, although I care about the value. So I think that Wilt Chamberlain rookie card that I have will probably do well in the future and maybe close that gap a little bit on the cards I traded. But I'm just telling you that I got toasted on that trade in hindsight, but that's the way it goes sometimes, right? I think everybody who's been collecting for a while, there were things you should have bought just from a financial standpoint, if nothing else, because you could have gained a lot of money like Otani and then sold to get other stuff you want for your collection. There are things we traded that at least financially we shouldn't have. But so I'm not just here to say that, look what I did, these Star Birds have just went way up and, that means that I'm, I have such incredible insight. No, I had hobby instinct. I had strong reason to believe these cards would go up. And yes, they have, but that doesn't mean that I haven't made moves to improve my collection that have, from a financial standpoint, not been the best, and sometimes that's bugged me quite a bit. But you know what? I think I've done reasonably well at realizing that's the way it goes, right? You win some, you lose some, you carry on, you're having fun, you're collecting. And, I think the wiser we get, the more experience we get, the more we listen to those hobby masters, the less mistakes we make. That helps us out. And even if we don't care about the money from a financial standpoint, I care about it for a couple of reasons. One, what if at some point I want to sell some of these cards to do something else for my family or my wife, or, put it in another direction, like buy a car or whatever that might be. Or what if I just want to sell some of them to take the hobby in a different direction, or get some card like a 52 Topps Mickey Mantle, right? What if I wanted to do something like that? Well, making purchases that I can, that that have the potential to increase in value so that I can trade or sell them, leverage them to get some of those big cards that would otherwise be out of range. I think that's a wonderful thing, a wonderful thing. So many people have done that. All right, I've talked on for 10 minutes, so let me turn this camera around and show you some Larry Bird cards in this emergency star Larry Bird video, because I'm not going to show you every Larry Bird card that I have, but I'm going to show you some of the ones that I think are kind of key or that I just really feel like showing right now. So yeah, let's do it. All right, I'm going to start with the oversized. Larry Bird has 2 oversized star cards, and you are looking at them right now. He's got his 5x7, the Celtics team set card in a 7 and Heavenly 7. This thing is so nice. You know, sometimes PSA is so insanely picky. I mean, this thing is just razor sharp. So I wanted to start by showing you the oversized, and then he also has this Court Kings as well. So the first 25 Court Kings are yellow, and then the next 25, making it up to 50, are blue, and that includes the Jordan. That happens to be a star card that I have, is the Jordan Court King. But right now we're looking at Larry Bird. Now, from a quote-unquote potential investment, who knows how this card will do? I mean, it's a large card. Some people don't care for the oversized. Maybe I should have went for a higher grade, but here's the deal. I got this 5 because it was inexpensive and it just looked so freaking nice to me that I was like, hey, you know, I don't care about the number, right? I care about how nice the card is. However, you know, if it doesn't cost too much, maybe sometimes it makes sense to go ahead and grab a higher number, particularly if something seems to be underpriced. All right, I want to show you this. This is going to be one of the very few non-Larry Bird cards. The reason I'm showing you this Topps Complete Set Aaron Judge foil board is twofold. One, this is the it's out of 190, by the way. This is his home run leader card, a 2018 card honoring his rookie season, American League home run leader season with the 52 home runs. So the reason I'm showing you this is twofold. One, because this is the one Aaron Judge card I forgot to show because I had it up displayed somewhere when I did my 62 Aaron Judge video just recently. And the other, because the reason I have this card is because of Eric Those Back Pages. He talked about the complete set in one of his recent videos, and he talked about the foil board and the, you know, significance and importance of it. And wow. So thank you so much, Eric, for, you know, sharing your knowledge. You know, the other thing I want to say here too, and I guess I am going to praise Eric a little bit, because he recommended to me some cards that I could look for from my 2022 Judge collection. A few cards, like 3 cards. I took note of that. And here's the deal. I think at least 2 of those cards are really, really scarce, and he doesn't have them, and he's looking for them himself. So what kind of a cool hobby is this? You know, where somebody will recommend to you to look for certain cards that are tough and scarce that they themselves are looking for. I mean, I am truly, truly honored. Speaking of Jordan, I guess I wasn't I spoke of him a little bit earlier. This is one, you know, I only kept the one oversized Jordan, the Court King, and then 2 of the small size Jordans, just to kind of keep my favorites. This one is pretty off center, but that's pretty typical for this card. It's tough to find them with no chipping with those red borders. So yeah, this has done really well. And this is the Jordan rookie, if you want to call it that, you know, one of the ones that I'm going to keep. And then I doubt I'll be getting others because they just get, you know, they're so crazy expensive now. But I'm thinking I will keep this one. I mean, could it get traded for something at some point? It could, but probably not. I'm thinking this is, you know, the Jordan I'll keep. And there's also something cool about keeping a card that you paid. This was not a comma card for me. I think it was like $8.25. I think I could look that up, but you know that you paid, that's a lot of money, but a relatively small amount of money relative to what it's worth now. There's something kind of cool about that, I think. All right, on to the birds. Let's see. I'm going to show you, where are we going to start? I wish I had bought more of these. We got a lot of A lot of glare going on here, don't we? I guess I need to, I wish I had bought, I'd like to see if I can kind of cut down on that glare. So I'm going to see what I can do with the lighting here and see if that helps. I'm not sure that's so helpful. Let me try turning this one off, see what happens. You know, I kind of like that. We'll go for this. This is the 83-84 Star Larry Bird short print. They had production issues, so a lot of these ended up getting destroyed before they were distributed. This is his base card from the first year of Star 83-84. And man, these have really, really taken off. I wish I had got more of them, but I'm glad I got this one. Really tough card. This used to be more than the Bird Magic Dr. J rookie or the Bird Magic rookie. Actually, I think it should be more now, and it now is. And in some grades, of course. And that makes perfect sense because this is so much tougher. It's a solo card of Larry Bird from his dominance and early Larry Bird cards. Let's go ahead and put that over here. And then let's talk about the 5, shall we? So the 5, so there's the Star number 1, 84-85. They honored him with number 1. And after the Celtics had won the championship the year before, and Larry Bird was the MVP as well as, I believe, Finals MVP. Yeah, so we got that one in a BGS 6, a little bit of corner wear. We got this BGS 7, which is really nice. And then we got this, what do we got? We got this BGS 8. I got this for $350, but the last two that sold, one was $850, the other was $1,100. And the one that sold for $850, I know the seller, I know it wasn't a shill. And the one that sold for $1,100, I mean, I guess it could have been, but I don't think it was. And then, let's see, the 6 here, I wanted to get a couple PSAs because PSA, I guess we're going to have to take this 83-84 and move it off. I wanted to get a couple PSAs because, you know, I thought they might do better. And this is in that frosted holder. This is what PSA could, this is what PSA could do with star cards if they ever get their act together. And so, you know, they may be the biggest grading company around by far, but they could actually excel if they ever got their act together, excel at really presenting the cards well. They need to understand what their business model should be, which is excel at, you know, which should include excelling at the presentation and protection of the card. Of course, obviously authenticity, consistent grading, all that stuff. They should be focusing on all those things and letting the profits come. But hey, they got profits, so maybe that's enough. Not for us collectors, perhaps, but maybe that's enough for them. So there's the 5. I had a goal of getting 5 of these before they just took off. I know I did a Larry Bird video on these not that long ago, but I just felt like doing another one because I believe so strongly these things were going to be worth so much more that I said I'm going to try to get 5. I don't know why. 5 just seemed like a good number. I wouldn't mind having more. These have now went up about 2.5 to 3 times. And actually, what do I think? Do I think they'll go up more? I do. It, you know, over time, not necessarily immediately. And they could even come down a little bit and then start to rise back up. But I do. I absolutely do. So there we go. Now, where are we going to go from here? Again, not showing all my star birds, but showing quite a few of them. Let's see if I can organize, you know, the ones I've shown, the ones I haven't shown. We're going to go to his next year base card. Now, these are the 2 that I started with. Notice his base card from 85-86 comes with a green border and a white border. Number 95 either way, which I think is really cool. How cool is that? You got to have both of these. Yeah, notice the green is off to the left, the white is off to the right. These are off center virtually all the time. The white one, sometimes you can find centered, not that often. The green one, you know, almost impossible to find centered. Not only that, but sometimes you'll see the trimming on the edge that has more, you know, more of the green border to try to, you know, improve centering. So you got to watch for that too. But actually, these are not bad. I mean, these are, you know, not bad for centering for this card. These are nice cards for sure. Let me go ahead and show you the back. The backs look the same. Well, I had 2 of those. I've had those for a long time and ended up paying very little for those, it turns out. like, I don't even know, like 50-ish bucks or something, which was just kind of crazy. Just recently, I bought 2 more. This one, this AGC, is Bill Shanko, who bought the leftover Star stock from the Star Company president. He has AGC grading, and you can actually send them cards. He also has an SSA Shanko Sports authenticated. This is just an insanely wonderfully centered, stunning, original Larry Bird base card. The only base card he has from 85-86. And I tell you what, finding one like this is just, just amazing, really. So does that grading company scare me away? No, because, you know, I believe that his grading is not necessarily, you know, like on par with PSAs. But I believe that I'm getting, you know, a real quality card here with just insane centering that's really nice and original. So super stoked that I picked that up. I have shown that. Here's one I have not shown. This 8.5 I just picked up, made a deal with the seller, whom I've known for a while, so I made a deal offline. Here's the deal with this card. This actually is, it looks off-center, which it is, right? But this is really, really nice centering for this card. Like that's something to realize too, that for this card, this is a really, really nice example. Probably one of the nicest examples. I'm trying to get some, there we go. Maybe that's better. Trying to get some focus here, but probably one of the nicest examples you'll ever see. And it's got a nice width to it, so it hasn't been trimmed to try to improve centering. So yeah, really stoked to have 2 of those. So that was kind of a goal, was to have 2 of each. So again, he's got the 3 base cards, 83, 84, this one that we looked at, and then 84, 85, where I have the 5, the handful. By the way, in 84, 85, he also has this MVP, honoring his MVP from 83, 84. So that's a really nice card as well. Yeah, the bag that, where did I put them? Oh, here they are. The bag this card was in, this was card number 1 in the bag and card number 1 in the set, and this is card number 12. You can see a little different color. That's because depending on where the printing, you know, when the printing was, would determine the shade of green there. So another nice bird card. And then where do we go from here? Let's see. Now, here's a couple cards that are just, well, I'm going to do this one first, I think. Now, this is one where Star claimed this was overstock from 86, but no, they actually printed this later, like sometime around, I think it was 1990, 91, somewhere in there. So one could argue that, you know, well, Star did not have the license, definitely, when they printed this. They got into trouble for that. So why did I buy it? Because I just really like it. It's still a relatively tough card, even though it's got, you know, it's got a story of some shenanigans associated with this set. By the way, it's interesting. The Jordan in this set goes for big bucks, and people tend to always just call it an 86, but it's a later card, but I just love this card. Notice this is the same. They reused the image from his 85-86 base card there. Love the blue on the back, so just wanted to show you that one. And I've got 2 of these. There was the last 11 Rookie of the Years. And so in 79-80, Larry Bird was the Rookie of the Year, so I got a couple of these. Beautiful thing about Star cards, they're out there. They're not rare, but they're not plentiful either, which I think makes a perfect balance for, you know, for supply and demand, really. I mean, if there's too little supply, that can keep demand low. Now, fairly, for sure, like if there's a 1 of 1 or something, like, you know, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, whatever, I mean, you could have some big bucks going after it, and it can go for, you know, $1 million or more bucks, depending. So there's that. But I mean that sometimes having too few of something stifles demand. So I think these Star cards are wonderful because they didn't print that many, but they didn't print that few either. And how many of them survived in great condition? So, you know, I just think it's a really nice balance, a healthy balance that can sustain I think, you know, the growth of the star card market in the future. So we got those. And then the last two that I want to show you, these things are just, I'm going to take them out of the baggie. These are just insane. These are so sweet. We got the Miller Lite All-Star and 84, 85 basically. When it says 80 star, by the way, the key is if it says 85, it's 84, 85. If it says 84, it's 83, 84. And let's see here. If it says 86, it's an 85, 86 card. Might have been printed in 86, but it's an 85, 86 season card. So the Miller Lite All-Stars, Larry Bird. Oh, I love what Star did with the colors. They were really, they were really like pioneers using color on cards. Well, then also there's the Crunch and Munch All-Star. And what a pair, what a sweet pair of cards. By the way, this Crunch and Munch is often diamond cut. This one is just a little bit, but not bad. Really nice card. Now, what do I think about the prices going up? Well, here's the deal. On the one hand, I kind of like it, but this is worth like maybe 6 to 8 times what I paid. On the other hand, you know, hey, that's great, right? But on the other hand, it actually kind of sucks because I would have loved to have bought more of these. And maybe I should have, right? Now I'm unlikely to buy more. But hey, you know, that's not much of a complaint, but it actually kind of is. I wish I'd have bought more. I had in mind to potentially buy more, but hey, the ship has sailed. Could it come down? Sure, anything could happen, right? But, you know, I don't see these cards coming down because we talk about hype, buying hype versus merit. These cards to me are merit. They were the only game in town officially NBA licensed during the 3 years where Larry Bird just freaking dominated the league. They're scarce. They include, you know, scarce, tough base cards. You know, and Larry Bird, there's lots of reason to collect Larry Bird. Sure, because of his back, he didn't, you know, have a super long career, but his peak was just insane. And not just insane, but man, you know, his trash talking, his passing, his game, like Larry Legend, man. Larry Legend. Well, how can you have an emergency star video that goes for a half hour? I don't know. I'm kind of long-winded. Let me turn this camera around. Oh, man. I hope you got something out of that. I just felt like turning on the camera and just kind of rolling with it and sort of sharing hobby thoughts. I haven't done that in a while. I know not all of you are into Star, but for anyone who watched this, whether you're into Star or not, let me get this light going. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you, my collecting brothers and sisters. Thank you for sharing in my joy. I hope you had a wonderful and peaceful time in the Vintage Sanctuary. By the way, mid-80s is kind of vintage now. Okay, take care, my collecting brothers and sisters.